Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Martin Ainsworth, and this is More the Podcast, a YFC, a Youth for Christ international podcast. I'm going to go with episode 12. I think we're on episode 12. I think the last one was 11. I'm going to call this one episode number 12 of season number 1. And I'm here with my very special guest. It's the first very special guest. I just decided that this was a very special guest. I'm here with Emily.
How do I get to be the special guest?
You have to be, you get to be, you are. Emily, how are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. We were just talking about the previous podcasts, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
And Emily was giving me not a little bit of feedback, but just telling me what she thought of them. I'm not going to ask you and say, hey, what did you think of them? But I think that Emily's going to take her collective knowledge of what she heard from the previous podcasts and apply them to her answers on this podcast. What do you think, Emily?
I agree. I was thinking, what can I say that's really good? I was listening to it. No, I thought they were really good and informative, and some of them surprised me a little, like how they answered them, or, I can't tell you exactly what right now I probably couldn't repeat what I was thinking when I listened to it, but I just remember thinking, oh, that was a little bit different than how I thought they were going to take it.
And you just summarized the kind of the reason behind the podcast, because I travel and people ask me about the characters that make up the International Service Centre. Normally it's a case of, what is the International Service Centre? And I go, oh, the International Office. And they go, oh, yeah. And then they ask about people. And so it seems like you're also finding out people think differently to the way you thought. I do like that. Mm-hmm. So, Emily.
Yes.
Tell me the short version or the long version, however you want to do it. Emily, what do you do? What do you do in that wonderful little office of yours when you're eating candy from around the world?
Yes, my favorite licorice that I get. So in a short version of what I do is I make sure our donor database matches our accounting system, and then I make sure everything's in the right spot, and then I'm responsible for sending the funds out. So I spend a lot of time sending funds to various places.
And I think that makes you a very popular person.
It does. It does when I'm on time and putting it all done.
In any organization, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. It doesn't matter how many other people are involved in processing that money. The person who queues it and sends it, in my experience, is always the most popular person.
Well, yes. So that's why I try to be pretty conscientious and sending it on time and being quick about it. Sometimes, who was it? Somebody told me, you send it so fast. And I was saying, well, I kind of have to keep up with it because I get so many requests and, urgent, like it needs to be sent now. So if I don't keep on top of it and send it right away, then I'm afraid I'll get it lost, because it'll get lost in the emails if I don't do it right away.
And there's a lot of people on the database, a lot of nations on the database, that a lot of little accounts backwards and forwards.
Yes. Yeah. So, it's a lot of just things that I have to remember each day. And if, sending it out monthly, sending funds out monthly, there's nuances to it, right? There's like, oh yeah, this happened with this account. I have to ask this person. I can't just send it. I have to ask them this question. So yeah. And I think it's only by God's grace. And sometimes I think the Holy Spirit's nudging, like, Emily, remember this, or wait a minute, what about that? Because I don't know how I remember it all the time. So,
well, you do a fantastic job. There's a lot of smiling faces around the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. So, in what you do in your routine, in your job, what are the things that kind of stand out? The conversations that you have with people outside of the office that you kind of go, That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Can you ask me the question again?
I'm going to rephrase the question again. Tell me about something that's happened while you've been at What Youth for Christ, a story where you've just gone, oh, wow, that's amazing.
Anytime somebody visits the office, it's really great. It's really great when the global team comes to the office and visits, because that's when those of us who are sitting behind a desk and a computer and just hitting buttons and doing most of our communication by email and maybe sometimes by phone or WhatsApp. Yes, you can call me on WhatsApp if you want. I do talk to people that way. It's wonderful to have people in the office and get to hear the stories. So, for example, even this week, or was it last week, somebody came in and they were, a regional director was sharing his nation's areas. And, it's just really great to hear those stories. It encourages us in the office, helps us to feel like, what we're doing is important, and that we're serving the global team in a way, that we can. So
that's really interesting, because I think sometimes people forget that there is a support network behind the people that do the work in the field. And then you guys, the team of you that are here in Denver, in the international office, the International Service Center, working hard, everybody assumes you know everything that's going on, that all the stuff that happens in the field is like, hey, Emily, and it's like, you're behind a desk. So really those opportunities when somebody's coming into the office and they share stories of what's going on, it's like you get to see a real live newsletter. It's like a slightly upgraded version where you meet the people.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because I think a lot of people, like I said, assume that you know everything that's going on. And so there'll be things that are a surprise to you that are happening in the field as well. I'm processing and thinking at the same time, because I was also sat in a room where a regional director gave a presentation. And in many ways, it was a presentation about what was happening, where a lot of that information wouldn't go out in a newsletter, couldn't be shared publicly, because it's just, it's not safe to do so. So we're actually, even though we're behind closed doors, we still get access. I say we, unfortunately, I get to travel a lot, so I do see the people. But people like yourself have that rare glimpse into the lives of what's going on.
Yeah, I think it really builds, for me personally, it builds my faith too, because it reminds me that God is doing things in a world that's really crazy now. And so it's really great to hear stories, small stories of God's impact and what he's doing with people. And, it builds our faith. Like we recently had somebody come visit and heard their story about how they got to GA in 2008 and how it was like last minute them getting their visa. And so when we were praying for this year's GA, I was reminded about that, and I thought, okay, Lord, please answer that prayer this way. Help these people get their visas. So,
yeah, it's really important. Visas is another entirely different topic of the challenge of getting people to and from. So the future. Because I'm saying the future, I've been asking people, hey, what does the future hold? And I'm like, I don't want to sit and go, what does the future hold? I hope you're not going to be sat behind a desk for all time, because you do get to do exciting things and listen to people. But what does the future hold for Emily and Youth for Christ? What adventures are you going on?
Oh, goodness. Well, I don't really get to travel a lot, so at least I think I'll be at GA.
Okay.
So that's that plan. I would like to visit a few places, but who knows what countries or Youth for Christ nations I'll get to visit.
Do you have any in mind? Is there any? So if you could choose any nation, 132 nations to choose from, 110, which one would you choose to go to?
Well,
Put you on the spot.
I know my brother JB Mugarura and Luke from Rwanda, so my parents were missionaries, so and I was born in Rwanda, so they always tell me I need to come visit, and I would be wonderful to go visit there. And then the camp in Romania, I'd like to see that in person. I don't know. There's a lot of places.
I could heartily recommend a visit to Port Oiler in Romania, to go just out of Cebu and visit the camp there.
Yeah, I've been kind of following along with his, JP's reports and their fundraising and things like that. So.
Interesting. Okay, so travel. Oh, so you mentioned GA, General Assembly, and that you're planning on going, you're hopefully going, you are going?
Yes, I am going.
Do you know what role you'll be doing at General Assembly?
I don't have a specific role, other than I probably most likely will be helping with the registration process, checking people in.
Excellent.
I'm kind of behind the scenes helping with that, helping Angie as she registers people and we sort out a few things. So I'll probably be helping with that. I might be probably helping with Peggy and the business meeting.
Wow.
Maybe just handing out packets and collecting votes and things like that. And other than that, I also want to make myself available for people to come ask me questions like, can you explain your... because monthly I send out these financial summaries for the month, like what's come in, what's gone out of your account. And I don't really know, unless you've emailed me, I don't know how many people look at them.
Right.
I know the people who do look at them because they ask me questions. So I would love to be able to explain and help somebody understand their reports if they're just confusing and they don't understand and they just haven't had the time to ask. I would also love to help people with their which is the donor database, the Silent Partner cloud website, where you can log in and look at donations that have come in. I'd love to help people do that. If you really haven't figured out how to use it, I would like to make myself available to help people with the administrative side of their stuff. Because I think also my gifting is the admin, and I think most of the people in Youth for Christ are not the admin. They're more the entrepreneurial ministry, creative types. So, and I do like to help explain to people what they're looking at. So yeah.
That is fantastic. I mean, I'm sat here as an entrepreneurial person going, that is amazing. That there is somebody willing to get alongside somebody and go, let me explain this statement to you. Let me show you how Silent Partner is. Because a lot of people pretend that they actually know how it works. And they pretend that they know how to read different statements. But actually, just that opportunity to be supported. And that's what I love about the International Service Centre. All of these different skill sets by all of these different people, some silently sitting behind a desk, but working really hard to make sure that all little details are all done on time, that nothing's missed out, with so many nations and so many people to take care of. You've got the Holy Spirit and God prompting you along the way just to help you not forget things. But then being willing to just sit and explain it through. Mm-hmm. You do a fantastic job, Emily.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've always liked helping people understand things. So, I welcome questions and the opportunity to explain things that are confusing that you need help with. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of given you a title for your podcast, but I'm actually going to say to you, what do you want the title for your podcast to be? What are we going to call this one?
Oh my goodness. You're putting me on the spot now.
Emily the admin, Emily who helps people.
Emily who can recite all of the account numbers.
Oh, there we go. Emily.
Ask me what your account number is and I probably can tell you.
So is that what we're going to call this podcast? Emily, ask me what your account number is and I could probably tell you without even looking at a spreadsheet.
How about accounting can be exciting?
That's exactly what we're going to call it. Accounting can be exciting. Well, thank you very much for listening to today's podcast with myself, Martin, and Emily. Say goodbye to everybody, Emily.
Bye. Thank you for listening to me.
And this podcast is titled
accounting can be exciting.
Accounting can be exciting. Thank you very much for listening. We look forward to seeing you or hearing you on the next podcast. I'm laughing because I'm quite excited by the title of that one. Accounting can be exciting, by Emily. Episode 11. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.